Doraemon. Yes, he is still quite awesome. Now, Doraemon's seventh feature film was Nobita and the Steel Troop, which is a homage to the history of Japanese mecha anime. I'm going to be reading out aloud to you today a history of Japanese mecha anime and manga. In Japan, robot anime, known as mecha anime outside Japan, is one of the oldest genres in anime. Robot anime is often tied in with toy manufacturers. Large franchises such as Gundam, Macross, Transformers, and Zoids have hundreds of different model kits. The size of mecha can vary according to the story and concepts involved. Some of them may not be considerably taller than a tank. Armed Trooper Votoms, Yataman, Megazone 23, Code Geass. Some may be a few stories tall. Gundam, Escaflowne, Bismarck, Gurren Lagann. Others can be Titan-sized, as tall as a skyscraper. Space Runaway Ideon, Genesis of Aquarion, Science Ninja Team Gatchaman, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Some are big enough to contain an entire city, Macross. Some the size of a planet, Diebuster. Galaxies, Getter Robo, Tengen Topper Gurren Lagann. Or even as large as universes. Tengen Topper Gurren Lagann, Lagann Hen, Demon Bane, Transformers, Alternity. The first Titan robots seen were in the 1948 manga Atomic Power Android, and Mitsuteru Yokoyama's 1956 manga Tetsujin 28 Go. However, it wasn't until the advent of Go Nagai's Mazinger Z that the genre was established. Mazinger Z innovated by adding the inclusion of futuristic weapons and the concept of being able to pilot from a cockpit rather than via remote control in the case of Tetsujin. According to Go Nagai, I wanted to create something different, and I thought it would be interesting to have a robot that you could drive, like a car. Mazinger Z featured giant robots that were piloted by means of a small flying car and command center that docked inside the head. It was also a pioneer in die-cast metal toys such as the Jogokin series in Japan and the Shogun Warriors in the US that were, and still are, very popular with children and collectors. Robot/mecha anime and manga differ vastly in storytelling and animation quality from title to title, and content ranges from children's shows to ones intended for an older teen or adult audience. Some of the first mecha featured in manga and anime were super robots. The super robot genre features superhero-like giant robots that are often one of a kind and the product of an ancient civilization, aliens, or mad genius. These robots are usually piloted by Japanese teenagers via voice command or neural uplink, and are often powered by mystical or exotic energy sources. The later real robot genre features robots that do not have mythical superpowers, but rather use largely conventional, albeit futuristic, weapons and power sources, and are often mass-produced on a large scale for use in wars. The real robot genre also tends to feature more complex characters with moral conflicts and personal problems. The genre is therefore aimed primarily at young adults instead of children. Mobile Suit Gundam 1979 is largely considered the first series to introduce the real robot concept and, along with the Super Dimension Fortress Macross 1982, would form the basis of what people would later call real robot anime. Some robot mechas are capable of transformation, Macross and Zeta Gundam, or combining to form an even bigger one, Beast King Go Lion and Tengen Topper Gurren Lagann, the latter called Combination. Go Nagai and Ken Ishikawa are often credited with inventing this in 1974 with Getter Robo. Not all mecha needs to be completely mechanical. Some have biological components with which to interface with their pilots, and some are partially biological themselves, such as in Neon Genesis Evangelion, Eureka 7, and Zoids. Attack on Titan creator Hajime Isayama draws particular inspiration from the mecha visual novel Muv-Luv, with its use of pilots controlling larger humanoid apparatus. Mecha based on anime have seen extreme cultural reception across the world. The personification of this popularity can be seen as one-by-one-sized Mazinger Z, Tetsujin, and Gundam statues built across the world. I don't know if there's any in Sydney. Maybe there ought to be. In any case, thanks again everyone. That's a brief, very nutshell primer to mecha and anime and manga from Japan. Doraemon Steel Troops is hard for me to track down, but very thoroughly enjoyable as someone who very much enjoys the Gundam anime of around this time, the 1980s. Thanks again, my good and dear friends. Appreciate it immensely.